Good afternoon, my Real News Midday TV family. Welcome back to the channel for another news update. And in the news this afternoon, PNP supporters protest against the caretaker for St. Elizabeth Northwest. A group of People's National Party supporters staged a protest against the candidacy of Patricia Scarlett Forrester in Northwest St. Elizabeth on Thursday. The protest was staged in Magoti. In an interview with the news, the supporters complained that the PNP candidate has not been meeting with the party workers and the constituents as part of the campaign for the upcoming election. They have called for the leadership of the party to intervene in the matter. Mrs. Scarlett Forrester will be challenging the JLP's Andrew Morrison for the seat held by J.C. Hutchinson, who will not be seeking re-election. Both are school principals. Government contemplating lowering legal alcohol limit for drivers. The government is considering lowering the legal alcohol limit for drivers in a bid to further reduce the incidence of road crashes and fatalities. Prime Minister Andrew Holness disclosed the plan following the most recent meeting of the National Road Safety Council, for which he is the chairman.
We are giving notice to the public that we are in the process of considering what the threshold should be, and the threshold is probably going to go closer to zero.
The current legal threshold in Jamaica is 35 micrograms of alcohol per 100 milliliters of breath. But Assistant Commissioner Dr. Gary McKenzie, commanding officer for the public safety and the traffic enforcement branch, is cautioning motorists that once alcohol is detected, even if it is below the legal limit, they could still find themselves in trouble with the law in the event of a crash. He said it is mandatory for drivers involved in a crash to be given a breathalyzer test, but the police may also administer the test based on reasonable suspicion of impairment.
So the threshold at the moment, as the law says, is 35 micrograms of alcohol per 100 milliliters of breath. As a matter of fact, it is important to note that in cases of crashes, if you are not above the limit, any number that is on it that may contribute to impairment and an eventual crash, that can be used and should be used in evidence in any court of law. And so we are concentrating on using these on our main roads and our highways to complement what we are doing. We believe that it will be very significant in terms of what we are able to do.
40 new breathalyzer machines were presented to the police on Thursday during that meeting of the National Road Safety Council at the office of the Prime Minister. The machines were purchased by the Pan American Health Authority with funding from the UN Road Safety Fund. The police are now hoping that the number of road fatalities will continue to decline, with this boosting their capacity to test for drink driving. Vice Chair of the National Road Safety Council, Dr. Lucian Jones, repeated his call for motorists to exercise extreme caution going into the long Easter weekend.
People need to understand, don't drink and drive. You can crash and die or kill somebody else. And the police are aware and are equipped and will be more equipped to detect drink driving. So people need to be very cautious and don't drink and drive.
Data from the Island Traffic Authority indicated that 105 road fatalities were recorded from 92 crashes up to April 17 this year. Cuba introducing electronic visa starting July 1. The government of Cuba has announced that starting July 1, all international travelers will need to obtain an electronic visa as part of updated immigration procedures aimed at digitizing and streamlining entry processes. According to the Cuban Ministry of Tourism, while Canadian tourists remain exempt from visa fees included in their airfare, they must still complete the Be a Heroes online form within the week prior to travel and present a QR code upon arrival. Travelers from other nations must apply for an e-visa through the e-Visa Cuba platform and also complete the Be a Heroes form before entry. These changes come amid a decline in tourism. Official data from the National Office of Statistics and Information show that only 196,004 international tourists visited Cuba in January 2025, the lowest high season figure since 2022. This is a sharp drop from 259,898 in January 2024 and 249,255 in January 2023. Excluding the COVID-19 years, this is the lowest January tourism number since 2007. Public defender says Jamaicans don't know their rights. Jamaicans are dangerously unaware of their own human rights, and that ignorance could cost them dearly. That was the grim observation of public defender Caroline Reed Cameron, who said that too many citizens have become numb to the erosions of their freedoms. We are leaning back and allowing a lot of our rights to be taken away from us, or allowing our rights to be encroached upon, and we are comfortable with it, she said, addressing the 25th anniversary of the Office of the Public Defender on Thursday at the Rock Hotel in Kingston. Citing public support for measures like states of emergency and the zones of special operations, Reed Cameron said, many Jamaicans are actually calling for their own rights to be stripped without understanding the long-term consequences. It tells me we are in a crisis. It tells me that a lot of us don't even know what we are summoning onto ourselves. And when people don't know their rights, they don't defend them, they surrender them, she said. Her words struck a chord, especially with Captain Natalie James from the Ministry of Legal and Constitutional Affairs, who also called out the citizens' lack of basic knowledge around human rights. People say, "Me have rights," but when you ask them what those rights are, they really don't know. James also highlighted that persons have a responsibility to ensure that they don't infringe on others' rights. The call for massive public education on rights was echoed across the panel at the event, but for John Harris, legal officer at the Child Protection and Family Services Agency, the biggest human rights issue is that children are not recognized as people. People feel like they own their kids, like the child must be seen, not heard, she said. When a child does something that you don't like, you slap the child. But when your adult friend does something that you don't like, you slap your adult friend? So we're saying that we should acknowledge children as human beings, acknowledge them as persons, because they don't understand the effect, the long-term effect of slapping a child. Always verbally quarreling with the child, shouting at the child, scolding the child. It really does have an impact on your self-esteem, your self-confidence, and the way they bring about themselves throughout the world, she said. Guys, thank you for watching. See you this evening at 6 p.m. for another news update.